Okay, hi Val. I just did a nice introduction for you. Can you hear me?
Oh, there. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, we can. You can hear us.
I can. Yes. Thank you.
Right, well, not to put you on the spot, but are you ready to go with your presentation?
We are ready to go whenever you guys are ready.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we'll share our screen here if that's okay. So while Victoria's pulling that up, I apologize to those that have already heard this. Some of you are probably able to give this presentation better than I can at this point. But just as a quick introduction, my name is Val Gates. I am a police officer here at the Barrie Police Service. I oversee investigative services, however, have sort of picked up 30 Forward as a passion project with a small but mighty group. And then if you want to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Inspector. Hello, everyone. My name is Victoria Tumiwovich. I'm the business planner and analyst with the Barrie Police Service and helping with 30 Forward.
Perfect. So we just wanted to start by sharing sort of the research around women in policing and what we know from over the past 2 decades of research that has been conducted in places like Canada, the US, the UK, and Australia. And over, these research-backed performance outcomes are consistently tied to women officers. So across all the findings, what you are seeing is women use force less often, and when they do use force, they use it less excessively. We know that the research indicates that women use discretion to make fewer arrests for nonviolent or low-level offenses. And as I explained yesterday, with some of the struggles a lot of our communities are having around addictions and homelessness, this is a really good trait to bring into the policing profession. We also know that women see better outcomes for crime victims, especially those of sexual assault. Research again supports that women conduct fewer searches during traffic stops, but when they do conduct those searches, they are more likely to find contraband, which lends credence to sort of that intelligence-led bias-free policing. And then we know that women are consistently perceived as being more honest and compassionate. And there's newer research that's starting to suggest that women, when it comes to complaints and lawsuits, it's starting to show that they cost between 2.5 and 5.5 less than their male officers. So when we start to look at where we are in Canada as far as women, those that identify as women in policing, we're at 22.87%. And so that number might seem modest, but in 1993, we were only at 8%. By 2010, we saw a 10% increase, which was pretty good. And then from 2010 to 2015, and then again 2015 to 2020, we started to see it slow down with just a 2% increase over those reporting periods. And then concerningly, from 2020 to 2023, we had less than 1% increase, so 0.9%. So what's that's saying? That rate of progress is really slowing at a time when a lot of services and communities are looking to sort of modernize and diversify and enhance that community trust. So we really, this should act as sort of a signal that it's not going to just occur over time. We have to be intentional and deliberate in our efforts. So now we'll just take a look at what ranks women seem to hold in Canada. And 71.7% are at that constable rank. 24.5% are at that non-commissioned rank, and only 3.8% are at the commissioned rank. So what that really means to us is that women are sort of most concentrated in those frontline roles. And so some are moving into those ranks. There are very few at those tables where the conversations around hiring and discipline, community trust, and culture, they're not sitting at those tables. And so it is a reflection, and I often say it's not about talent or ambition, because they really want to progress through those ranks. It really is a reflection of the structure within our environments. And so it also tells us that it's not just about recruiting women into our services, but we need to build those pathways that support them throughout their career so that they will thrive and move into those positions later on. So that's where the critical mass theory comes in. So that 30% number, 30 Forward, it's not arbitrary. That is also backed by research. So the critical mass theory, and it has worked, and they pulled research across other disciplines like politics and corporate boards, but it consistently shows that 30% is the tipping point. So when underrepresented groups get to that percentage, it starts to shift that group dynamics. And what you're going to start to see is they will start to influence culture and policy and decision making, not just take part in it. So we are not there in policing yet. Definitely not in those senior ranks, but this is a very good benchmark that we can work towards, and that is what we are encouraging services to do through 30 Forward. So Again, relying back on that research and what can happen once we reach 30% in policing, what we know from other areas that when we get there, you'll start to see that systemic cultural change because those behaviors and expectations and those leadership styles are going to start to diversify. You're going to see healthier workplace dynamics, reductions in harassment and improvements in team functioning. You're going to see a movement beyond tokenism. So where women are no longer seen as the exception, but they are part of the norm. You will see stronger mentorship networks where we have that critical mass to actually sustain junior officers throughout their entire career. And then lastly, you're going to start to see that policy informed. It's going to push for that from within, not just as those outside pressures, because you can start to rely on lived experience to help inform those better decisions. So when we look across Canada by province, you will see that there is nobody that is quite there yet. We do have some services that are getting close, but there really is no consistent standard nationally or no accountability framework to move services towards that tipping point. So that's why 30 Forward really is, it's not focusing just on those numbers. We can't just bring them in the door and then leave it. We really need to focus on the systems, the support and the strategy. Because as you can see, success in one province doesn't automatically translate to success in every province. And without that intentional policy on hiring and promotion and mentorship, even our best efforts, they're going to stall. So I want to touch on an initiative you may have heard of out of the US called 30 by 30. And their goal was to have 30% representation of all recruits being women by 2030. So I had the opportunity to meet the co-founders of 30 by 30 about a year ago, heard a presentation similar to the one that I'm giving to you right now, became inspired and intrigued and thought, you know, could we bring this to Canada? Could we build something that's tailored uniquely to the needs of women in our own country? So that's sort of when we decided this is something that we wanted to look at. Could we adopt this? Could we make it better for all women and all, not just women, all officers in Canada? So where did we start? We came back and we started looking at what specific research we could find in Canada and what that was saying. So we did find over the past decade, there is a growing body of Canadian research focused on women in policing. And what we also did note that the same sort of themes that were showing up in 2012 were still showing up in 2024. We do have some more research in 2025. So we are not lacking in research or insight, but what we might be lacking in is that structural momentum and that coordinated response. There are a lot of great things happening in policing around this work. However, the one thing that we've never really been able to achieve is that 30% where we can start to see that structural momentum and that tipping point where it's really going to make a difference. And, you know, even with the most dedicated females trying to lead the charge, without that 30%, it's just not sustainable. We're relying on too few women to make too much change. So it's really important to have that allies and that structure. So just to touch quickly on what we were seeing through that research over the past decade, persistent barriers to promotion and return to work, those gendered performance expectations, retention challenges linked to culture, and hearing it over and over through research and also through focus groups is that lack of mentorship. So what have we done since then? We have completed over 30 focus groups across Canada. Over 100 women and allies have participated in these focus groups. And based on that, we started to form the pillars of what 30 Forward will look like. And we'll be focusing on things such as recruitment and hiring, retention and family support, mentorship and leadership development, and then that allyship and inclusive culture. And with all that, we're building a national resource hub, because we don't want services to just sign up for this pledge and try to navigate some of these complexities on their own. We want to provide them with evidence-based strategies to help them with that, a platform where they can find mentors and mentorship. And we really want to facilitate that and continue to evolve that fluidly through the years as we understand what the women in our country need. So shortly we will be launching on October 9th, and with that launch will become this report. So we have researchers from Wilfrid Laurier University as partners on this project. They did do a deep dive into that research that we spoke about in Canada. They have provided this full, robust literature review on that research. So that will be available to all police services that are part of this initiative. And they also have provided us with a research brief. So quick access for your leadership teams if they want to take a look at what the research is saying in Canada, what the pledge is based on. And then also coming out will be the report from the National Focus Group findings that we conducted as well through the beginning of the year. And with the research and the focus groups, we were able to pull those themes out, match sort of what the research is showing us and what we're hearing from women and allies across Canada. And that is really what has helped us inform this pledge. So this pledge will be launching, like I said, on October 9th. We are hoping to have many police services in Ontario, obviously across Canada. Once it's launched, there will be an expectation for within 6 months to submit some data, baseline data. And you will also get a social media toolkit. You'll have access to the mentorship platform. Yeah, and we will continue to build out based on the needs that we hear back and the committees that we plan to develop after launching. Applied Police Briefings, if you get a chance, this fall edition is completely dedicated to women in law enforcement. So we've partnered with our 30 by 30 advisors from the US. And each day is a piece of research around women in policing. There is Canadian research in there as well as US research. And if you can scan that QR code right there if you would like, and it would take you to that document. But Applied Police Briefing is a great tool if you're looking to read up a little bit more on this. We also have a LinkedIn page. This we started at the very beginning of this initiative. Again, the QR code's there. This really was to keep everybody up to date on where we were at, start those conversations, a little bit of education and awareness around the history of women in policing, and it served to be a really good resource for us to help inform the pledge. Again, we are proud of those that we have been endorsed by, and as well as those early supporters. So we are endorsed by the Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police, the Ontario Women in Law Enforcement, the International Association of Women in Police, Advancing We in Policing, 30 by 30 are our advisors. And we have asked early supporters at the beginning to jump on and say, we support this work. Please, keep moving forward. We would like to be in a position to sign the pledge as soon as it becomes available. We have added a few more since then. LaSalle and Toronto Police Service have also jumped on as early supporters as well. So we're pretty excited about that. So the next steps, as I mentioned, the launch will be on October 9th at the Building Bridges Conference. From there, we will collect data after 6 months and make that online data dashboard available to those members. We are developing training around mentorship and allyship. And I should mention that allyship piece is a key part of 30 Forward. It has not been focused on in the past, and it's not a part of 30 by 30. And we really want to be intentional in that allyship piece, recognizing that this work has to be done with everybody. And then we're going to develop that national mentorship network that will also go out to those services that sign on. Again, we are launching in a couple of weeks. I don't know if any of you are attending. You are welcome to attend the launch on the 9th at 3:45 p.m. The conference is as well open. I think it's almost full. So if you wanted into that, please let us know and we'll see what we can do. And then how can police boards assist? I would encourage you to encourage your chiefs and your deputy chiefs to sign on when we officially launch. It really does signal that commitment, not just to your community, but internally to the women that are already serving in your organization. Second, I would ask you to just stay engaged, ask the right questions during strategic planning, like what are we doing to recruit, retain, and advance women? How are we supporting mentorship and inclusive leadership? What does your data say? Where are those points, those places where you can enhance your response to that? And then I really do invite you to be a voice in shaping this work. The board level has a lot of influence, and your influence, you can influence that culture from the top down. And so the more services that get behind this, the more momentum we can build together. And it's not about perfection. This pledge is not going to be perfect. This national platform is not going to be perfect when we launch it, but it is about that progress. It is a roadmap. It is research informed. It's Canadian built. You know, we listened to the voices. We looked at the research, and it will remain fluid, and we are open to that. But it is a great starting point, we believe, and we are excited to see where this can go. And we didn't want to take up too much time of your today, so we kept it a little bit short, but we are open to questions if anyone has anything that they would like to ask.
Is there anyone on the board that would like to ask any questions? Okay. Yeah, please, Gail, go ahead.
I did just want to say thank you. This is a second presentation for certain members on the board, and we appreciated you joining our diversity plan working group yesterday and making the presentation for the full board today. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate
Perfect.
it.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Gail, Jimmy, thank you. All in favor? Good. Adoption of the minutes from meeting number 2510 held on July 17th, 2025 be adopted. Greg, worship, all in favor? Communications, that the following communications from the Ontario Association of Police Services Board, Ontario Human Rights Commission, Ministry of the Solicitor General, Ministry of Children, Community and Social Services, and Diversity Plan Working Group Committee be received by the board. Is there any questions? Or first of all, can we receive it? The communications. Thank you, Gail. Brian, all in favor? Thank you. And was there any questions pertaining to any of that information? No? Good. Then the delegations, I'll introduce Steve Mothersell, Manager, Licensing and Enforcement with the Corporation of the City of Kingston, who will speak to the board with respect to motion 10B, Agreement Special Constable Employer, Corporation of the City of Kingston. Hi, how are you? Excellent. Very good. Steve? Floor is yours.
Thank you. Chair, members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Steve Mothersell, and I'm the Manager of Enforcement Services with the City of Kingston. I'm here on behalf of the city's Licensing and Enforcement Services Division to request your approval for the creation of a municipal special constable program, beginning with the appointment of 6 members of our management team. Excuse me. This request is not made lightly. It stems from the real and growing safety challenges our staff face, the limitations of current authority, and the increasing demands from our community. Encampments are among the most pressing and complex issues we encounter. Every day, our officers are present in parks and on city-owned properties, navigating situations that are often volatile and entrenched. When bylaw officers encounter these situations, their authority is limited. At times, police response is delayed due to higher priority calls, leaving our staff exposed and without the ability to act lawfully or decisively. This is not only about encampments. It is about the risk to the staff who manage them. Our officers are consistently placed in circumstances that go beyond their mandate, creating risk for both the employees and the community. A municipal special constable program is intended to close this gap. It is a safety measure that equips our supervisors and managers with the limited authorities necessary to support frontline officers, de-escalate conflict, and address trespassing without delay. Our bylaw officers are frequently the first to respond to community concerns, whether in a park, a wooded area, or a downtown alley. Supervisors and managers are often called to these scenes to support their teams, yet they currently lack the authority to take meaningful action when risks escalate. Appointing 6 members of the management team as special constables ensures that those responsible for staff supervision can intervene lawfully and effectively when frontline staff face danger. This is not about expanding municipal powers beyond reason. It is about ensuring consistent, safe, and coordinated enforcement in partnership with Kingston Police. Beyond encampments, challenges are increasing across city-owned properties such as parking garages, transit facilities, and other public spaces. Complaints involving trespass, disorderly conduct, and aggressive behavior in these areas are rising. While our staff respond, their limited authority often prevents them from resolving matters effectively. With special constable appointments, supervisors will have lawful tools to enforce trespass, manage safety issues, and provide immediate support, reducing delays and alleviating demand on police resources. What this program is and is not, it is a partnership with Kingston Police, overseen by this board and the Ministry of the Solicitor General. It is a support mechanism to protect frontline bylaw officers, the public, and municipal property. It is a safety measure for supervisors and managers who are already responding to high-risk situations. What it is not. It is not a replacement for Kingston Police. It is not a cost-cutting measure or duplication of police work. It is not without oversight. Special constables remain accountable to Kingston Police and this board. Today, we respectfully request the appointment of 6 municipal management members of the city's enforcement services team as special constables. These appointments will strengthen the support for frontline staff, enhance their daily operational safety, and allow Kingston Police resources to remain focused on priority calls. Encampments, large unsanctioned street parties, and challenges on city-owned properties are daily realities in Kingston. They place strain on our community and on the staff who are tasked with responding. By granting limited authorities to 6 members of our management team, we can create a safer and more effective enforcement environment. This is about protecting our officers, safeguarding city property, and reinforcing the partnership between the City of Kingston and Kingston Police. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I respectfully request your approval.
Okay, thank you, Steve, for that. Is there any questions from any members of the board? You have anything to say about it? No? Okay. We will, yeah, thank you. Okay, next will be information reports. Chief of the Deputy, if you want to speak to that. Thank you.
Certainly. The report A is just outlining our section 19 requests of other agencies or of us over the past month. And it's for information purposes only. And I believe at the end, we made 1 request for temporary assistance, and we had received no requests. The next report I'll have the deputy speak to.
Thanks, Chair. And just through you, the property report stores audit, as you know, is a yearly report that comes into this board. This report's coming a little bit later in the year, just with our cyber incident and gathering the data. Just something I want to point out just really quickly, and I'll take if there's any questions. But you can see from the report that the consultation, the amount of energy and work that gets put into this report is not done by the chief, right? It's done by a number of our staff, and for this to be put together for the board is a lot of work off the corner of the desk, additional duties for the people that work under this roof. And I just want to recognize the people that put their energy into it. But as you can see from the report, we continually see the increase in seized property all around. It keeps increasing year over year, and that just really explains the growth and the complexities of our investigations and the expectations of our police resources. And when we look at that throughout the organization, we often talk about increasing complements on police officers and boots on the ground and response times, but you also need to increase the complement on the back end and on our civilian side when we look at growth within our police services. And I just point that out because I know we often talk about call response and growth, and this is a great example of our civilian side that puts a lot of energy into our operation here. I also just want to point out that our property room was built some 20 years ago, and as we're experiencing with our building, we're starting to get at that point of closely getting to capacity. And that's also clear on the property room side as well. But pending any questions, the report's before you, and we bring it to you for transparency and what we have in our property room.
Any members of the board have questions for the property? No? Okay, thank you for that, and thank you to the people that put together this report. We appreciate that. Okay.
And last, in regards to the motion regarding notifications, I've outlined in a report here, we did a comprehensive review of our policies, procedures, and you know, at the end of the day, I guess to put a humanizing approach to it, it's a very difficult process. And having performed this, unfortunately, dozens and dozens of times myself, I understand every time you have to go and tell a parent that their child's been murdered, it's never easy. And there's no amount of training in the world that prepares anybody for it. But what I can say is that from an organizational point of view, our procedures are in line with other agencies. Our processes are in line. When we look at all available data that's out there in relation to this, you know, we're compliant with legislation. We do our best to ensure that our best people are going there. We did make some updates to our procedure, the trauma-informed approach, obviously some more training and some things like that. So if there are any gaps, by no means are we perfect when we go out and do these things, but we try to be perfect. And I can tell you also that, you know, at the time when you go out and have to tell a loved one that something terrible has happened, oftentimes there's some anger, and sometimes it's directed to the police. And I always, you know, I always tell our people that that's to be expected, because this is a very difficult process to comprehend. And, you know, you're going to see sometimes the 4 stages of grief before you in the next 10 minutes. So I think at the end of the day, can we do better? I always say we can always do better. But I'm very happy to report to the board that certainly what we're doing, we are working and advancing the Kingston Police, and there is some opportunities to improve. As you just heard, a growing agency, a growing service, a growing community, you know, but we haven't grown our training department. We haven't grown. We're doing minimum amount of training where we need to start doing maximum amount of training, instead of looking at here's what's legislated, here's what we can do, and here's what we can offer. And we also have to be, you know, we have to also recognize that that all costs money, and we're trying to ensure that we're being fiscally responsible. But when it comes to staffing, some training, some quality assurance, you know, there's room for improvement. But at the end of the day, I didn't see any issues that should cause any alarm to the board here.
Very good. Thank you. So can we have a motion to carry those reports forward? Thank you, Jimmy, Brian, all in favor? Good, thank you. Next, the recommendation report for the approval of public and in-camera report templates. Firster, seconder, thank you. Gail, Jimmy, all in favor? Thank you. Report number 2551, policy department. So we've all seen these policies. Thank you, Gail, for the work I've done on these. So we're going to go through, I think, about 7 of these, and just to have them approved and put through. Yes. So report number 2551, policy development policy. First or seconder, thank you, Gail. Thank you, Greg. All in favor? Next is going to be the report 2552, quality assurance policy. Gail, Greg, all in favor? I guess we're going to do these one by one. What's on my sheet? Report number 2553, strategic plan policy, that the Kingston Police Service Board approved the strategic plan policy as presented in report 2553. Yeah, first or seconder, thank you, Brian, Gail, all in favor? Thank you. So 2556, accommodation policy, that the Kingston Police Services Board approved the accommodation policy as presented in report number 2556. Gail, Greg, thank you. All in favor? I should thank you to Greg's worked on this as well, so thank you for that. Not to forget about you. Report number 2557, equal opportunity discrimination and workplace harassment policy, that the Kingston Police Services Board approved the equal opportunity discrimination and workplace harassment policy as presented in report 2557. Gail, Greg, all in favor. Thank you very much. Report number 2558, unsatisfactory work and performance policy. Gail, Greg, all in favor? And yes. Yes, please.
I did just want to say thank you, and I'm not sure if members had a moment to review these, but which I assume you have because we were all just passed, pardon me. But I did want to say I really appreciate the support of the board and the members of the command who have actually taken the time to review these within a tight time frame. We have about 100 policies to get through, and we've made some real inroads. So again, I did just want to again commend everybody for getting those back in a tight time frame so that we can actually get them out and allow the service then to pick that next step up and develop their own general orders, policies, and processes to follow on with the direction. So again, I did just want to express my appreciation for everybody's time, because I know there's a number of initiatives that are happening.
And we'd like to thank you because the work needs to get done for them to be able to do their work. And so it's nice to see it's going in that direction, like really, really good. And it's very much appreciated. We appreciate you. So appointment, so number 2560, appointment of Kingston Police Officers, Ale Arsenault, Tanner Hawley, Mohammed Kome, and Sion Pierce, that the Kingston Police Service Board appoint contingent upon the candidate obtaining the Ontario Police College Basic Training Certificate on the date of swearing in the following Kingston Police Officers. So Ali Arsenault, Tanner Holloway, Mohammed Kamaha, Sion Pierce, and that the board issue a certificate of appointment to each of the following officers in accordance with the legislation. So can I get a first or seconder on that? Jimmy, Adam, all in favor? Thank you very much. Motions, the Ontario Transfer Payment Agreement, Provincial Strategy to Protect Children from Sexual Abuse and Exploitation on the Internet. That the Kingston Police Services Board authorize the chair of their delegate to execute on behalf of the Board of Ontario Transfer Payment Agreement between His Majesty the King and Right of Ontario as represented by the Solicitor General and the Board for the receipt of funding in the amount of $655,000, $655,124.81 for fiscal years 2025 to 2029 for the provincial strategy to protect children from sexual abuse and exploitation on the internet. A united team approach effective April 1st, 2025. First or seconder? Greg, Jimmy, thank you. All in favor? Agreement for Special Constable Employer, the Corporation of the City of Kingston. Thank you, Steve, for the delegation. The Kingston Police Service Board authorized the chair or their delegate to execute on behalf of the board the agreement respecting special constables between the Corporation of the City of Kingston and the Kingston Police Services Board to a 5-year term. So first or seconder, do you want to have a conversation with us, anyone? It's all good. I think it's already very, yep. Okay, Greg, Gail, all in favor? Thank you. Okay. Ratification of motions, report number 2549, appointment of Kingston Police Officers Chase Dowdy and Cameron Lagat. That the Kingston Police Service Board ratify the motion passed by a poll of quorum on board members July 31st, 2025, pending the next scheduled public board meeting. That the Kingston Police Services Board appoint on the date of swearing in Chase Dowdy as a police officer of the Kingston Police in accordance with Section 37(1)(c) of the Community Safety and Policing Act 2019, and that the board issue a certificate of appointment to Chase Dowdy in accordance with the legislation, and that the Kingston Police Service Board appoint on the date of swearing in Cameron Lagat as a police officer of the Kingston Police in accordance with Section 37(1)(c) with the Community Safety and Policing Act 2019, and the board issue a certificate of appointment to Cameron Lagat in accordance with the legislation. All right, so all in favor, sorry, first or seconder, Gail, Adam, all in favor. Thank you. All right, well, congratulations to the two for the appointments. Application of Victim Support Grant 25, 26 and 2026-27. We don't need that, do we? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, and it is? Okay, good. All right, must be on a timer. That the Kingston Police Services Board ratify a motion passed by a poll of quorum of board members on August 13th, 2025, pending the next scheduled public board meeting. That the Kingston Police Service Board approve the Victim Support Grant 2025-26 and 2026-27 application for submission to the Ministry of the Attorney General by 4 o'clock on August 13th, 2025. That the board authorizes the chair to sign the grant application on behalf of the board. The grant application supporting documentation were distributed to all board members on August 13th, 2025. First or second? Brian, Jimmy, all in favor? Thank you very much. Appointments to Diversity Plan Working Group Committee. Great work, Gail. That the Kingston Police Services Board or Service Board ratify a motion passed by a poll of quorum of board members on August 29, 2025, pending the next scheduled public board meeting. That the Kingston Police Service Board appoints Kyle Hodder and Terry Lynn Brennan as community members of the Diversity Plan Working Group effective immediately. First or seconder? Gail, Adam, all in favor? Resignation and appointment, Diversity Plan Working Group Committee. That the Kingston Police Service Board ratify a motion passed by a poll of quorum on board members on September 15, 2025, pending the next scheduled public board meeting. That the resignation of Terry Lynn Brennan from the Diversity Plan Working Group Committee be received with regret, and that the Kingston Police Service Board appoint Stephanie Lovelace as a community member of the Diversity Plan Working Group effective immediately. Gail, Jimmy, all in favor? Thank you. New business that I'm going to ask Gail to provide highlights from the CAPG annual conference and AGM.
Just very briefly, I know that members of the board have all received information from post-conference, but I did just want to highlight one of the features of the conference, and that was a training program put on called Not in My City, and it's about human trafficking. And that I'll ask Lori post-meeting to put up a link to training that every member of our community can take place so that they can spot and identify human trafficking. And I know that this is an initiative that our service has taken part in how they are trying to affect changes in this happening along this 401 corridor. So that's one of the main things. This conference was really one of the best conferences that I've been to. And I think I say that about every conference I've been to. But again, the initiatives that are happening in policing across the country are spectacular, and it gives me a lot of faith in what every service is doing to create safety and security in our communities. And if I can just mention briefly, we also had the Zone 2 OAPSB meeting last Friday. And in that Zone 2 meeting, we discussed again, a number of initiatives, but one of the initiatives that will be happening soon is the OAPSB will be changing their name to Police Governance Ontario in the new year. So it more accurately reflects the way that we're going forward. So because sometimes the OAPSB is a bit of a mouthful, but it is what we do. And as one of the directors for Zone 2 on that board, it'll be my pleasure to continue to update you on things that are happening there.
Thank you, Gail. New business is that new business is that I received a letter from Solgen, the Ministry of the Solicitor General, that my time is up as chair on this board. I have mixed emotions about that. Like, how are you going to survive without me? But really, the last 6 years and 5 months of being on this board has been just so positive, giving time for the community. It's made me a way better person, just reflecting on the growth that I've had while being on this board. And I really appreciate that I was able to do this. Like, I have nothing bad to say about this positive experience about being on this board. So thank you for that.
Thanks. I think just on behalf of the board, Jared, and the police, and I'm going to broaden it and say the community and the city as well. We really appreciate your leadership. It's been a crazy few years. I think about some of the things that we've had to deal with as a board. Your leadership has been steady. It's been positive. You and I have had a great relationship, just being able to connect and move the city forward. So you're leaving, you've set things up for success. And so I just want to say thank you for all the work that you put in for this. It's been great.
Thank you for those kind words, Brian, coming from you. That means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. His worship said a lot of what I want to say as well. I joined the police service board at the same time you became the chair the first year. And I think on the current board, after his worship, I am the oldest the board member on this one. And I have seen a lot of changes from the first year. And I have mentioned time to time that your leadership was exceptional. And we go through a lot of challenges, and I have seen a lot of changes positively coming up. We will miss your service and your leadership, but it is a time probably for you as well to move on with some other project. But as a board, as a community member, I personally appreciate your services and your leadership style, and you really set the path for us to continue to move for the success and betterment of our service and in our city, and to provide best services for the safety to our community. Thank you very much for your hard work.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thank you. And the city's got you. I always say to everyone that I talk to about the board that the people on the board are very special, and they're smart, and they're doing this voluntarily pretty much, and it's a lot of work, and it's really impressive. So thank you.
And just echo those comments as well. But from an organizational standpoint, I won't speak on behalf of the association, but I know Darcy is here and from the senior officers, certainly taking the board out of the shadows and putting them on the radar of our staff. And I know we just had a ride along with one of the board members as well. All of that is huge. And that's something that under your leadership on the board was done very well. And I think just building those relationships outside the doorway here in those halls and really shining a light that the board is more than just a group of people that get together once a month. And really for our staff, I know that the last few years have been understanding the strategic plan that came out, and they all see that there's a lot more to it. So certainly from our perspective, hey, I know the system is built in a way, and I know that what you do in the future will be bright as well, but certainly the future of the Kingston Police is very bright as we move forward. So thank you for your work on that.
It certainly feels that way. It feels like we've come a long way, and the future is looking really good. So thank you.
Certainly. Ahmad Amin is our new IT director. Probably nobody's met him yet, so everybody's wondering who is this person coming up. He just started a couple of weeks ago. And I know there's lots of work to be done, and he's picking up on what our IT department had been doing. So you got to see firsthand today some of the challenges that happen, as we say, we know that. But to welcome aboard, Ahmad, it's really great to have you here. And also we have Acting Inspector Mari Hilliker, who is looking after courts and training. Welcome to the second floor, and Acting Inspector Dave Geen, who's looking after patrol and communications. And it's giving us an opportunity to have everybody come through, see what it's like to be administration, and get under the wings of people like Inspector Greg Sands, who've been here for quite a long time. But I just wanted the board to be aware that's who's coming up. And of course, you've met Scarlett before. So thank you so much. And Cam, who was already acting, appreciate it, and Darcy. So just thanks.
We will adjourn 12:52 for the next. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You have to move in camera. Yes. Gail, Brian, just couldn't do it. Not once. Just